Show, mate.
No intro. Fuck, I don't know what went
All
wrong
right.
there. It's usually set to autoplay, but
All
something
good,
went
mate. All
wrong.
good.
Oh, hold
Boys
on.
and girls, Joshy here. BJ and game day.
On
Nah,
my
we're
on
holding
my,
on again.
on my live feed,
What have you done?
I don't know.
Just a typical show here with the boys from BJ and game day. Everything goes right. Is the sound on, boys? Give us a thumbs up in the chat.
Play the intro again.
No idea. Bogan on fire already. Absolutely, Benny.
All right, so it's coming through on that end. Okay, fair enough.
What's playing behind your cat?
I just got the Xbox capture, so it's the intro to Yakuza playing in the background there.
Right, yeah. There you go.
All right, we
All
are
right.
live. No fucking intro. That's good. It's all
That's
working.
right.
It's all working
Ben,
out well.
Benny tells us that we've got the sound, so we're all good to go. Guys and girls, BJ and Game Day back for another week. Just Joshy and Bogan this week. Brent is on family duties. The missus got a few things on, so he is looking after the kids. But, mate, what carnage. Teamless Tuesday.
I'll
About
tell you
5 hours ago, every super coach got absolutely fucked, and they weren't the only ones who got fucked this week, that's for sure.
what.
Katoni's
All right, yeah.
Tony's done an absolutely stunning job. Only bad part was we didn't get to see what the bird looked like, whether she had a head like his or whether she was a good sort. But very,
um,
very nice.
so, 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 Supercoach addicts you're already banned from,
Supercoach addicts I'm banned from, yes.
and so now you're also banned from Supercoach
Well, I'm
Central.
not. I'm not banned. So KFC, Supercoach Central. I've got a. I've been suspended. Let's call it. I've been suspended. I haven't been banned. Um, may have shared a few videos, a video, uh, singular of one Katoni Staggs doing a few things. So any of the boys on the page there who wanted to have a look at the video, I was quite happy, to send it on. So there you go. There you go. Anyway, is what it is. Mate,
Well,
look,
oh, ads.
Katoni's footy game is definitely better than his rooting game, that's for sure.
Well, and we were saying before we went on air, the guy's ripped. Like he's not a got a face like a crushed pie, but he's not an unattractive bloke. You're not going to be too embarrassed about your sex tape coming out
Nah,
when you've got
oh,
a
mate,
body like
look,
his.
hey, it looked good. It looked good. The bloke, you know, near enough to hung like a donkey. So hey, what's it gonna be? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen worse videos come out. If it was me in the same situation, well, yeah, I'd be a little bit annoyed. But anyway, he'll survive.
So how'd you score
But
last week, Joshy?
how'd I score last week? 1271 last week. Look, I was a little bit dirty actually, mate, last week. So, look, we've all been victim of it in the past. Super coach updates and things like that. I had 1270 heading into updates, and I finished on 1271. Three of my leagues, I was 30, 40, and 50 points up, and I got beaten three leagues. So, made very, very dirty. And one of those was the BJ Game Day League. Marky with the fucking Cowboys, he got me by about, I think, 5 or 6 points in the end there. So, mate, very, very dirty. And
Yeah,
one of the other ones I get that done in was my cash league. So, wasn't happy there. What about yourself, mate? How'd you go?
1250 in classic, updated well in classic. Unfortunately missed Kane Anderson by about 12 points in BJ and Game Day League in head to head
Yep.
with the updates, but did get over Brent Hampton in one of the other BJ leagues
Very
with the
nice.
updates. A different story in the draft though, which we'll go into when we get to the scores. The updates were not good to me in the draft at all.
Mate, but green arrows for me. I think I jumped up about 1,200 spots, so back around about 6,000 now. Um, look, mate, it's just tough. We look at the carnage that happened today with Team List Tuesday, and obviously we'll go through the teams a little bit later, but, there's a lot of guys who'll be hurting this week with the likes of Cam Smith, Pappenhausen, Harry Grant being named out today. You've got Bradman Best, Obviously, Madison hasn't come back yet. He's still out from that head knock, and we've seen him in the past, sort of be out 6 to 8 weeks with those head knocks. So, mate, it is, look, we all were sort of blessed with the shorter season and really enough trades to sort of get you through to the end, maybe just shy of it. But there's a lot of people who will be using all their trades this week, definitely, or definitely both of them.
Yeah, I have Cam Smith and Harry Grant in the hooker position, so I got to trade one of them.
Same.
I've got no dual positions that I can switch into to do a sneaky. It sucks because when Cam Smith got injured, I was like, oh well, I'll just bench him for a few weeks. That's
mate, look,
you don't get rid of him.
I was actually loving it yesterday. Like the injury came through to him, and it was bad for Sunday. Took a few points away, but most people in that sort of top 1,000, top 10,000 had Cam Smith.
Yeah.
So for me, I really didn't mind it. It gave me a fair bit of cash to throw around and make some trades, and I'd really eyed off getting Mitchell Moses in after his performance. He's quite good, and money wise, 411,000 still. So I was basically looking at downgrading Smith to him via Billy Walters back to the 9, and the other one I was looking at was Asako to Ponga. So now with obviously Madison out, Harry Grant out, I've just really got to reassess, and I've made one change to those sort of trades, but who knows? By Thursday night, I could change trades 20 different times.
Yeah, well,
actually, anyone out there, while you, everyone in the chat, send us through the trades just so that people can have a look what you're thinking about doing this week. Whether you got Cam Smith, whether you got Grant, obviously Maddo, blokes like that. Send us through what you're thinking of trading. We can make some comments on those. But mate, Brent Hampton, he had about 1250 odd as well, so 1246 there.
Yeah, 1246.
What'd you get? You got 1250. You got 1246. Yeah, gotcha. Sorry about that big face in the screen, guys. I've got to zoom in a little bit to see the numbers. But yeah, let's jump on to the first game of the week last week, and the Thursday night footy. Who did we have? We had South Sydney up against the Dragons. And, the Bunnies getting home in a tight one. Some good Supercoach scores across the park here with Alex Johnston and Cody Walker. I saw a few people vice-captain Cody Walker, and I think actually the top team of the week did the same thing and exercised their loop with Cody Walker there. So some solid scores there from the Bunnies.
Yeah, every week I check my draft team to see who Newcastle and South are playing, to see whether I should swap out Best or Johnson on the bench.
Yep.
And this week I didn't fucking do it.
Oh, mate, look, AJ, and he's one of those players.
He's rocks and diamonds. But if I had looked at it, I had some other shit on. Unfortunately, if I had looked at it, I probably would have swapped him in, and that would have got me over the line in draft. But coulda, woulda, shoulda.
That's it, mate.
Must have been the Supercoach gods making me forget to check that before going into that game. But shit happens. Lomax. Zach Lomax.
Oh, beautiful.
Finally,
about fucking time Zach Lomax had a shit game.
Yeah, so that's his one shit game for the year.
He can have a few more now.
Whether that means they've sorted him out or he's actually came to the attention of coaches as someone to target in game plans to shut down. I
don't necessarily think it was that. I probably just think that the flow of the game really didn't reach him, and there's a couple of drop balls there and that. I think he'll bounce back pretty well. Obviously, the Dragons are going to name a few more changes this week with Corey Norman being dropped, and even later tonight, there's come out in the social medias that maybe Gareth Widdop makes a return instead of Corey Norman next year. So obviously that won't help them this year, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Let's have a look at a couple of the chats. What do we got? We've got Smith to Appy for Mayono to Dave Fafita via Jules for Shano. Yeah, it's not too bad, mate. Obviously, Fafita coming back. He may be a little bit, lacking in fitness. But that said, at 500K, he's got a low break even. He could definitely jump up pretty quickly. Benny, Grant to Tohu via McInnes. Yeah, that's pretty solid. and then went Maddo to Bateman. Yeah, look, again, I probably reckon you might get better value out of Jazz Tavanga. Tavanga at about 520k. I think he's just got just as good an upside as either of those players, but obviously just that little bit cheaper. And again, that dual hooker position that, obviously McInnes has got as well. Joshy seems Perky's not no paid. No cans. I'm off the drink. I'm going to the gym. I kicked off, guys. Kicked off, silly as it sounds, a 12-month challenge. So I've got about 1,500 squats to do this month. Long story, 12 monthly challenges with regards to fitness. I'll be off the drink for a little while now, guys. So, yeah.
1,200 squats, what, a day or over the
month? No, mate, over the month. So 1,500 squats over the month.
It's going to get to it's going to get to the 31st of August, and you're going to have to do 1,500 squats.
I'm already 300 in, so I'm going all right. Next month I got 30 days, 30 hours of boxing, which for me is not too bad because I've been boxing for a while now. But basically,
fun, actually, I'm not the most fitness inclined person, but boxing, if you're not into weights or running or anything like that, get someone to fucking hold some gloves up for you to hit, because boxing is super fun to do as exercise.
Mate, I got my girls into it. My daughters are 10 and 8, and I got them into it when they were about 4 and 2, and I've been doing it ever since with them. So, mate, they can belt the crap out of me sometimes. But anyway, more on that as we go. We're basically building up to an Ironman triathlon in the next 12 months. So we'll see how that all goes.
What's an Ironman triathlon involve?
Ironman triathlon, you've got 4K swim, you've got 180k bike ride, and then you got the marathon at the end for the run, 42-kilometer run. So, it's going to be a long 12 months of training and stuff. But
shove that up your ass.
That's the goal.
Anyway, next game.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. All right. So what do we got next game?
Warriors getting up over the Tigers.
Mate, yeah, look, obviously Madge gave the Tigers a huge spray at half time. 14-8 they were up. It didn't work.
It was fucking funny.
Mate, the Warriors came out, dominated the second half, dominated possession, dominated field position, completely everything. So interesting there, obviously, that development with Blake Green moving to the Newcastle Knights from the Warriors immediately. So we'll see him line up for Hampton's team this week.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And you also got Todd Payton turned down the job.
Yeah, So he's obviously got his eye on maybe the Cowboys job or something like that.
Well, I've heard that he's pulling strings in the background, and he's trying to get.
In what way, mate?
He wants Madge to go to North Queensland, so he can hook up again with the Tigers. Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
Like, obviously, played the majority of his career with the Tigers. So if that, I hope he gets a gig somewhere, and good for him for picking his family over himself. Not many people would fucking do that.
Yeah, no, fair call. Obviously, we mentioned Jazz Tavanga just a little bit before there. 84 points last week, so played solid. Elisa Katoa, another solid week there for the young rookie, 85 points, and it looks good. Can play 80 minutes. Probably will develop those sort of attacking stats. In defence, he's solid, but just solid game across the park there, so he'll get better and better. Peter Hicker, look, just one of those games where he scored a few tries. Probably one of those abnormalities, but second game there on the Friday night, mate.
The Broncos, fucking hell. The Broncos
Zacco in the chat, what boxing gym? Mate, I go to World Gym Southside down in Springwood there, train under Reggie Reagan, and also go to a boot camp place where basically another good amateur boxer, Stacey Richards, so she trains us there. So a couple of different places that I go to. Mate, the Broncos, I love this. This was beautiful.
Oh, mate. Look, like I follow, mate, so I can rip off gags for the show. I follow Simpsons NRL memes on Twitter, and it had the perfect one. It had It was Homer sitting on the couch, but it was fucking Seabold. And he's
Yeah.
like, I love these NRL victories. And then Marge sticks her head around
Still
the
10
corner and
minutes to
goes,
go
it's
or
only the
whatever.
70th minute. He jumps up.
Yeah.
Mate,
Oh,
they
mate,
had
look,
the
yeah.
wood all over the Sharks for 70 minutes, and then they just fucking gave up.
Mate, I think the commentary sort of got it right on the end, on the night. The Broncos have just sort of forgotten how to finish off games. You know, years gone by, we go back sort of 5-6 years ago to the Lockyer led teams and the Webkes and things like that. That was what the Broncos were renowned for, was that anyone in the last 10 minutes they could chase down or they could close out games. And yeah, this team they've got a lot of soul searching to do. News this week, obviously, that Milford will be out this week, so Darius Boyd will keep
Broncos
that
probably
spot
win.
at fullback. Oh, look, at the end of the day, mate, they've got to win eventually. You got to think, with the talent that's behind the team, Dave Fafita back is going to be a good in, but he won't change this team, in the first week. But mate, the Sharkies look, they got the job done in the end.
Has he got his bags packed? The news came out that he's going over to the Titans.
Look, you spoke about it with Jai Arrow, obviously with the bunnies and stuff, and
I don't like these mid-season signings.
A little bit of effort, but at the end of the day, mate, I think it's just part of the game. And I think if you're going to sign, I think you should immediately go there. What I don't understand, I don't mind the mid-season signings. I don't understand how they sign for someone a year after that. Like I know there's some guys out there who will do 2022 signings, and that just dumbfounds me. So yeah, but mate, superstar, porn star, Katoni Staggs, top scorer for the game. 120 odd points there. Look, played really well, as I say. His footy game at the moment is really looking good on that right hand side. He's again. You look at a few of these right hand wingers that are in the games with him and Lomax and such. There's definitely a lot of potential there, and goal kicking as well. So plenty of upside there for Staggs. Obviously, a lot of people had him earlier in the season when he blew up big, but then he had a fair few weeks out with injury. So I'm not too sure whether he returns to that gun status again. And if anyone's looking at getting him in, I think this week with the outs that we've got, it's probably not so much this week that people will do it. Mate, first game on the Saturday.
Roosters
and what do we have? The Roosters. Yeah, look, obviously, bit of a scrappy affair, this one. And I caught a few glimpses of this game, but I was working, so I didn't catch much of it. But by all accounts, the reffing, not the best, and the Titans could feel a little bit hard done by. Talk was around that maybe there was a try that was disallowed that should have been a try. A couple of others where they just got really, really shitty calls. Teddy managed for Supercoaches to get 80 points, and again, a lot of people out there captain him. I think you did as well, mate. I definitely did. Mate, there's just that expectation. It's really hard to not captain him, especially against a team like the Titans, and you take that risk if you don't put it on him, and then he comes out and bangs out 140 or 150 points, and the Titans are definitely a team he can do it against. But we've probably seen him in the last 2 or 3 weeks just with that lull in form, but he's still scoring 75, 80. So, look, clearly the best player in Supercoach at the moment, James Tedesco. Across the park as well, we saw with the Titans, again, we don't really concentrate too much on their team, but Philip Semi, he's one guy that really sort of puts in, week out for the Titans. And obviously got a try there and another one that was disallowed as well. So, anyone, I know Brent's had him in the past, but maybe a little bit more of a draft proposition there. For the Roosters, look, Luke Keary. Just want to touch on him. Again, he's had ups and downs. You think with how good this team can go that he'd be performing quite well, but he's quickly turned into one of those halves in Supercoach that you just can't have. They produce for their team and they create, but it just doesn't result into Supercoach points. Obviously, half their team doesn't help the Roosters or him. So we'll see what happens at the back end of the season. But he might be a pickup for finals if anyone's looking. Second game on the Friday, mate. We had the 5:30 game, and I'm pretty sure this was the Raiders. Yeah, Raiders up against the Cowboys. Actually, I did catch most of this game.
Lolo must watch the show.
mate.
Because
We
he's talked
sorta,
about it. You talked about
yeah.
him last week. Is he past it, or does he still have those Supercoach points in him? And then he comes out and knocks out a ton. So he obviously is watching. So g'day, Lolo.
Oh,
Glad
look,
you're
mate,
enjoying the show.
and the try they laid on for him in that, I think it was late in the first half, maybe early in the second half, was just beautiful. The line he ran, he went over untouched. But again, another performance where he runs for 200 plus meters. He is the best forward in the game, and look, at the end of the day, there's not really anyone who's ever averaged over 100 points in Supercoach. Tedesco's been the closest we've seen so far, and what he's doing this season. But Lolo's got these games in him, and this is why you have him in that second row. Even his work rate week in, week out, even when he has a bad week, he's still going to score 55, 60 plus points. So, set and forget for me. And anyone who doesn't have him, you're starting from behind, that's for sure. Johnny Bateman, mate. Canberra Raider. I really thought he wouldn't play another game this season. I thought he's just going to heal up, head back to Wigan, take his paychecks while he's over here. But credit to the guy. He's put his footy boots back on. He's gone out in the field and he's had an absolute cracker.
Is he confirmed going back to Wigan?
Impressed. Yeah, he signed 3 years.
Oh, fuck. So that's a decent contract, too.
Yeah. So, but, mate, yeah, look, obviously disappointing. You see a bloke and a calibre of this player come to Australia from over there, and you want to see him for years to come. We saw the highlights from Semi Burgess over the years, and his form went a little bit up and down. And I think what this guy's got over them is that that super consistency and what he can offer on the park.
I think if a player's going to make that successful transition, they really got to be looking to emigrate. Like Sammy Burgess, you can sort of tell he's a permanent. Well, I think he's even a resident. I think he's done his fucking little speech on Australia Day. And because he's got family over there, it's like he's got a kid from previous relationships, so you can sort of see. Once again, you not only have you got that monetary motivation, but you've got that personal motivation that you want to stay over there. It would be a big ask to get someone to be away from their home country. So it is a shame though, because I think he's a waste playing in Super League. But he'll get paid a squillion dollars, so fuck it. Good for him.
No, definitely, mate. And look, other than that, obviously the Raiders, Joshy Papali, another solid game. But beyond that, we've really talked about the Raiders just not being that Supercoach relevant team. Great teamwork and the effort across the park to turn up for each other is there.
They'd be happy to win in those close ones as well. Usually it's a fairly familiar habit with the Raiders that if it's 4 or so points in it, you can bet on the Raiders are going to lose those close ones, but they seem to be getting over the line in those closer matches now. So, 2 points is 2 points.
And sometimes that's the trick every season. I know I go back to 2016 when the Sharks won the comp because they were the games that we won. I think that year we won about 8 games by less than a try. So. And you hear commentators talk about seasons, season in, season out, where teams will lose those games, lose 80, 90% of those games. And that's the difference between being a top 4 team, a top 8 team, and missing the 8 altogether. So, no, absolutely, mate. And they're the ones the Raiders are starting to learn how to win, which is good. Mate, and the final game on the Saturday night, we had the 7:30 game.
From a close game to a fucking flogging.
Yeah.
So as to be expected though, the Panthers are fucking red hot. But don't tell Shane Foote that they're fucking shit if he asks in the chat.
Mate, they look great. They really do. I didn't think Ivan Cleary was this good a coach. I don't know whether it's him, but Gus Gould's 20-year plans finally come together. But Nathan Cleary, look, 138 points for Supercoaches, downgraded from 140. Still lost those couple. Isaiah, another awesome performance. Api Coruscant was good again. across the board, this we talk about the Raiders being not a Supercoach friendly team. This team is completely the opposite. Tackle bust, line breaks, everything across the park is there for this team. So definitely, I'm glad I've sort of got 5 or 6 players in there in my team from these guys. Thoughts on Crichton, guys? Jump in the chat and talk to me about Stephen Crichton. I've read on a few pages this week some people trading him out. Obviously, I think those things will change now that we've seen the carnage that's around with other teams. But
the chat's too busy filling up with fucking Shane Foote writing in caps by the looks of things.
Yeah. No caps allowed, mate. No screaming allowed.
I might time him out.
Unless I'll go and do it. No. But mate, for the Sea Eagles, Cherry Evans a little bit of a return to form. Jakey Trebojevic the same. He did cross for a meat pie. Good on him there. I think Curtis Sirenan played well, but picked up a little bit of an injury, so I'm not too sure if he's named again this week. I actually wasn't really too worried about Manly's team list this week because there was that much carnage everywhere else. So, I'll have to go back and have a look at that.
I was just looking at the chat. Did you just mention Sirenan? Apparently he'll be back, but
okay, there you go.
People are saying, well, Shane Foote reckons that Crichton's an absolute gun.
Yeah, but he's a biased motherfucker.
Yeah, well.
Of course you're saying that, Shane. Look, I believe he's a gun too, but I'm sort of going to Supercoach side of things where a lot of, Hampton talks about it week in, week out of players' base stats and really their work effort that earns them that sort of Supercoach title. So we talk about Latrell, how he's got none completely. We saw that again this week. He posted all right with a try there, but could have done a little bit more effort in defence and in attack. So Stephen Crichton, his base is a little bit poor, but he's got the attacking upside. But again, you're in a Panthers team that is absolutely flying in attack. So if they do go cold, if they lose form, if there's any sort of downturn there, what are those sort of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s turn into? Do we get 30 or 40 out of him 4 or 5 weeks in a row? And that's always the danger with centre wingers.
How do you feel about, for those of us who have Grant
not on this list, Shieldsy.
Grant and for those of us who have Grant and Smith, how do you feel about bringing back in Coruscant?
I don't know. Look, Panthers have actually got a pretty easy run to the end of the season. I think they've got Parramatta again and maybe Cronulla and Raiders or something. But other than that, a lot of teams outside the 8. So, look, Appy, the fact that he had that week off will do him well because I think Appy definitely burns himself out. I think he is one kind of player where you get a good 4 or 6 weeks out of him and then his form just drops off. So we see that he sort of scored 80-odd there on the weekend. Whether he scores that again, I'm not too sure. But at the end of the day, if you got that Cam Smith, Harry Grant combination, you got to bring in someone.
Yeah. It's too much. It's too much money to fucking lose a position.
For me this week, I'm actually bringing in, and I mentioned him before, Jazz Tavanga. I think his work effort, what we saw last year, finishing off last year's season, and the fact that he's come back in from injury and is again putting out 80-point plus games, I think he is dead set a gun in Supercoach. You get the 60 tackles, but along with the 60 tackles, you get 15 hit-ups. You'll get a line break here or there, and he can score tries. I see a lot of similarities between the two players, but Tavanga's probably got that higher upside with attacking stats. So, yes, bring in Appy if you want to. If that's a choice, I couldn't say not to, but I'm leaning towards Tavanga. And yeah, look, Shields, he's just mentioned in the chat there. Cookie's been woeful the past few weeks. Look, yeah, I'm not too sure what to make of Damien Cook. Obviously, 4 or 5 weeks ago there, we saw a bit of a return to form. He threw out 120 or 130 odd. But the 40s and 50s have just been too many this year. I can't have Cookie this year. If he goes on a run, possibly. But yeah, again, the form's just not there, and that the ceiling's not there this year that we saw last year. And I've got to say, I think it's a Wayne Bennett thing. I don't know. I've never really liked attacking players in Wayne Bennett coach teams because Wayne's definitely all about that defensive work rate, which is great because obviously defense wins comps. But for super coaches, we prefer a little bit more attacking because at the end of the day, as much as Cookie's a good defender, he's not going to make 70 tackles a game like your Cam McInnes or your Jake Friends and that. He'll make 30 or 40, but he really relies on those attacking stats. So, yeah, he's a no for me. Jazz will be injured again before Appy. Yeah, Shano, mate, you're right. Look, Jazzy is injury prone. That said, mate, we've got trades left, so it'll just be another one like Cam Smith this week where we're trading them out. Mate, first game there on the Sunday, the 2:00 game. I can't remember who it was. Who did we have?
It was the Bulldogs giving the Eels a bit of a scare.
Absolutely a scare. Look, I think it's well documented my man crush for Aiden Tolman. He needs a kick in the ass this week. I think 15 to go, 18-16 down, 12 metres out just to the side of the post. Someone gets penalised. He grabs the ball and takes a quick tap. Absolutely boneheaded move. Look, any footy player except for maybe Blocker Roach is going to take the two there and even up. You want to get that sort of security and take it into golden point if you need to, or start the drop kicks in the last sort of field goals in the last 10 minutes. So kick in the ass for him this week. But look, Kano, we've got to give it to Kando. Raymond Fatala Mariner scored another try. That's 4 weeks in a row. He's got on the score sheet, and it's reflected in Supercoach. He's had another absolute perler. Mate, Junior Paulo, your boy, he is an absolute battering ram.
Well, I'll pat myself on the back for that one because I brought him in a couple of weeks ago thinking he'd be a bit of a pod. So, turning out all right.
Yep. And as we spoke about, Mitch Moses scored that first try there. A little bit of return to form for Mitch after a few weeks out. And obviously Dylan Brown taking a lot of the limelight, but Dylan seems to have dropped off a little bit again. And Moses starting to take charge. So Mitch Moses, 85 points, 411K. If there's any chance you can get him in this week, now is probably the time to do it. Break even, I think, this week is about 25 or 27. So if he does throw out a 70 or 80, he's definitely only going to raise 30 or 40,000. You want to get him in sooner rather than later because once Mitch hits those purple patches, he tends to kick them on quite well. And the final game on the Sunday, mate. And who did we have?
It's a Storm.
Yeah, the Storm getting over the Knights. And Tino, what do you end up scoring? 170 updated to, so 103 updated to 107. Tino Fasamasa Laka, I don't know what his name is, but
I'm not going to try.
Luka, Aaron Molan. Absolute crack of a game. This kid.
Yeah, Aaron Molan, that's his name now.
That's his name. We're calling him Aaron Molan.
Aaron Molan.
Look, it's a little bit of a strange one. Melbourne not really renowned for letting go superstars. We've seen players leave the clubs and sign big money elsewhere, but they've never really had that. I can't say superstar because he hasn't turned into one of those yet, but it's definitely on the horizon. The form's starting to go on the board that this kid just runs great lines, can step off the left, can step off the right, scores tries, is good in defence. He's really one that you'd expect Melbourne to maybe take through the years and create a legacy down there. But, the Titans have picked him up and he'll be a huge signing for them based on this form this year. Hopefully he doesn't turn up to the Titans and just want to party all the time and fall into the trap that so many others have.
Titans have been on a bit of a buying spree of late.
Yeah, look, they definitely have to be. At the end of the day, a lot of people talk about their roster and how bad it is. And I got the chance to meet a guy during the week, last week there, Luke Phillips, who played fullback for the Roosters back in the 2000 and 2002 grand finals. He came into the Beamer dealership looking to buy a car. So, mate, Lukey, we were talking about it because he was assistant coach to Garth Brennan there at the Titans the past few years. And he also worked under Freddie Fittler for the New South Wales Blues. And, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this on camera. I'm sure no footy players watch this. But he just said that absolute lazy, bunch of lazy cunts. So you've basically got players who have gone there and signed contracts for big money. And then just once they've got the money, that's it. They're just done, I was thinking about it after we sort of talked, me and him, and you look at competitions like the NBA and how hard even your lower players work. And I know it's a bigger sample size with the NBA, the likes of sort of your LeBrons and everyone through that. But basically, from the top to the bottom, it is so competitive that you cannot afford to not work hard. And I think that's what the Titans have sort of lost. And based on the conversation with Luke, he definitely sort of said the same thing, was you've got the likes of your Ash Taylors and your Jared Wallaces. He said he's the biggest cat ever, that Jared Wallace. And then they've got a player like Jai Arrow who actually was a try. He put in, week out, and they let him go. So the fact that they've brought in players like Dave Fafita, Tino, yes, it looks great because these guys can attack and can break play open. But if they're not prepared to spend 60 minutes of their time on the field defending and, repelling the other team off their line, it doesn't matter what you do in attack because, it's a bit of a weird one, the Titans. They've got a long way to go. But, look, the Storm, big news out of this one, obviously Cam Smith doing his AC joint in his shoulder, 2 to 3 weeks out via the NRL physio. So we'll wait and see what happens there.
And it seems that, Cam Smith has got an injury, so they're already talking about retirement.
Mate, I think it came out half an hour later, didn't it? Yeah, they're talking about, don't think he'll play beyond this season.
And
fucking
it's
one
like,
of these,
mate,
one of these journos has fucking said it or something.
He's be out for 3 weeks. It's not really a big one.
Like, Cam Munster, Pappenhausen played solid. Pappenhausen obviously resting this week, so a lot of his owners will be a little bit annoyed, especially the rest of the carnage that was on the field. From a nice point of view, look, Kalen Ponga was solid. I do like sort of what I saw from him there. And the Knights over the next 4 to 5 weeks have got a very, very easy run. I think you're looking at teams like the Cowboys, the Warriors, the Titans. This could be the 4 to 5 weeks that Ponga really turns it on. So if you don't have him, mate, he is one that I'm getting in this week that I'm trading in. Jump on board him, guys. Mitch Barnett was solid. And, Bradman Best. Look, Bradman Best, another good game. But he's going to be out that 6 to 8 weeks with that syndesmosis injury. Played 3/4 of the game on one leg, basically.
Yeah.
So that's it for the games from last week. We'll jump into the games for this week. And the Thursday night game, who we got? I think it's Roosters, is it? Yeah,
Dragons.
Roosters and Dragons.
Yeah.
Again, team news here. Kyle Flanagan is out. Apparently just a small knock injury, so he should be back next week. Still no Brett Morris. Still no Angus Crichton back. So there's a few players that are out there. Joshy Morris named to come back, but he was a late withdrawal there last week. I don't know how the Roosters keep winning games. They dead set are losing players left, right, and centre. But it just goes to show you how well coached. Trent Robinson's got that whole squad because the guys who come into the team just fill their role. Like I know they only just scraped past the Titans last week, but you can't blame a team that's got 7 or 8 top flight first graders out. So doing a heck of a job. The Dragons, Matty Duffy just continues to perform well week in, week out. We obviously mentioned Zach Lomax had a little bit of a quiet game there last week, so he'll be looking to bounce back. And on that right-hand side, finds himself up against Josh Morris, probably the best defensive centre in the game. So this is probably one he can take a little bit personal, Zach Lomax. If he really wants to show that he's at that elite level, it'll be up against Joshy Morris on that right-hand side. Cam McInnes, look, nothing really unusual there for either team with regards to the benches. Friday night game, mate, first one.
Sea Eagles up against Warriors.
Hasn't Josh talked about like 4 trades this week? Yeah, well, I have, mate, because there's that much carnage. Adrian, I might fucking change a few times. I'll
Yeah,
probably
they're
talk about
definitely
20 trades
definitely
before the
different to
show's
the
over.
ones that are going to pop up.
Well, yeah, exactly. Seagulls against the Warriors. Cody Nick. See, no, I like this. Look, obviously they've gotten rid of Blake Green now. Blake Green gone to the Newcastle Knights, but Chanel Harris-Tavita and Cody Nikarima, at the end of the day, they're trying something different. Green was going anyway. Let him go now. They're coming off a win against the West Tigers. Jack Hetherington's been huge. Look, I really didn't rate this guy, and maybe that's because he was just in a better team like the Panthers. Off the bench, I thought he just looked too aggro and whatever. But the passion he's shown for the Warriors, big props to the guy because I like the way he looks. For the Manly Sea Eagles, Cade Cust, I really like this guy. Again, I've spoken about him the last couple of weeks. No man crush on this guy. He's too short for me. But I tell you what, he does look good on a footy field. Curtis Sirenan, mate, named. So obviously the injury he copped there last week, they talked about it being
a bump.
They talked about it being a reoccurrence of previous knee injuries with regards to like scar tissue and stuff, which is already sort of healed up. So NRL physio mentioned it was a little bit more of a pain maintenance kind of thing. So we'll see what happens there. Second game on the Friday night, mate, and we've got the Broncos in their usual spot there in that 7:55 spot on the Friday night.
Being
up
shit,
against the Bunnies.
Being shit doesn't stop fucking Channel 9 from booking them for Friday nights.
Still a million viewers out there nationwide that want to watch the Broncos for some reason. So, well, I tell you what, if Katoni Staggs is playing, we might get a few more female viewers, I tell you.
Well, not if his form's the way that you described, Joshy. Like.
Oh, mate, look, as I say, I'm sure a lot of people out there maybe liked what they saw, but, I just thought he didn't know how to use the gear he had.
You
need
to get in there and show him some technique or...
Probably. I could show him a thing or two, I reckon. Mate, the Broncos, as we mentioned, Milford out. We've got Darius Boyd at fullback. Brodie Croft comes back into the team. We've got Jake Turpin at 9. Now, this is the key for this Broncos side is this kid. If they're going to be any kind of force towards the end of the year to build into next year, this is the kid who needs to be there. The service and the speed that he's got that he can give blokes like your Payne Haas's, your Fafita's, Pangai Jr., that they get it out of this guy. So Pangai Jr. looked awesome in the first half against Cronulla last week. They just need to give this kid an absolute license to offload anywhere, whether it comes off or not. The second phase play he creates is just awesome. Paddy Carrigan definitely proven himself to be a keeper. Let's see how the minutes go this week. Obviously with Fafita, I reckon they'll manage Fafita's minutes and Carrigan will still play big minutes and probably score another 70 or 80. But we'll have to watch in the next couple of weeks any owners of him out there. For the Bunnies, mate, Latrell, as we mentioned, scored a try last week. Looked quite, I wouldn't say quite good, but trying to get involved. We just need to see a little bit more from him. Gagai, Paulo keeps his spot. We've got Walker. Reynolds copped that stinger in the shoulder last week that forced him out for half the game. I think a few owners out there were pissed off because he ended up on -4 points, which is a little bit tough, but he'll have to redeem himself this week, and we'll see how that goes. Now, Jaden Sewer, I did notice in the chat a few boys saying that he has been ruled out this week due to suspension. He's just come out of the judiciary tonight, and he has been suspended. So we'll have to see how they rearrange that. No doubt you'll probably see I don't like any of their bench. I like Colin Matangi, but I can't imagine him getting the spot ahead of the other ones to start with. And maybe Jack Johns gets a spot late on the bench. We'll have to wait and see there. 7 runs, Joshy. What do you mean, Canna? I've forgotten about what I was talking about, but there you go. First game on the Saturday, mate, 2:30, 3 o'clock game.
Storm up against the Bulldogs.
Oh, look, the Doggies have just been troubling everyone they play lately. Haven't been on the back of too many big hidings. Meaney looks good at fullback. Laffey return there. Foran and Lachlan Lewis is probably the best defensive half in the comp. He just hits awesome. Obviously if Talan Mariner continues his good form, pot of the year there for Kane Anderson. Joshy denies it, but I might have to say I was wrong there on that one as well. For the Storm, Pappenhausen rested. You've got Nico Hines there at fullback. So they're basically taking the opportunity to give Nico that run up against the Doggies while they're sort of playing it outside the top 8 kind of team. Brendan Smith takes over from Cam Smith at the 9 spot. And, look, at the end of the day, he's played that team. He's played that spot for his team internationally under New Zealand. You can't say you don't lose plenty when Cam Smith's out, which you obviously do. But, Brendan Smith's shown that he can play that position quite well and brings his own flavour of attack to the position too. So I think the Storm just win this easy. But, at some stage the Bulldogs will be in it. Maybe the Storm run away with it in the last 20 minutes. We've got Latrell, 7 runs. Right, yeah, gotcha, mate. It's just not enough, is it? Runner from fullback, mate, you want to see minimum sort of 15 runs. That gets you that extra sort of 15 Supercoach points week in, week out. And, all of a sudden 50s become 65s, 70s become 85s. When he scores a try, you ton up easy. I was hoping that maybe Adam Reynolds would be out again so he could keep those kicking duties, but we'll have to wait and see. The Knights up against the Tigers on the 5:30 game. Blake Green debuts at number 6. We've got Kurt Mann at number 9. Well documented the problems that the Knights have had with it at number 9 spot. Chris Randall named 18th man. Didn't get to back up this week from having the 9 jersey there last week. But, the Knights, I don't know. There's something there that is a very good team, and I think this Adam O'Brien has obviously got them headed in the right direction. But what I do like is obviously Blake Green coming in, and Kurt Mann, if he is restricted to that number 9 spot, I think it'll just give Kalen Ponga that little bit more license to roam, because Blake Green and Mitchell Pearce, pretty much structured players. I think that X factor in Ponga might come out and he'll be able to go to that left side again. Whereas the Tigers, Tommy Talau moves to the centres there. We see Moses Mbai go to the 9. Billy Walters drops out of the team altogether. Drops down to the 17. Luke Brooks gets that half spot alongside Benji Marshall. So it'll be interesting to see how they line up there on game day. But obviously, Madge had a few things to change after last week's spray didn't work at halftime, and you went from being in front at halftime with a spray to losing by 6. So he's rung the changes here, and we'll just have to see how they go. But no Alex Twal either, only just come back from injury, and we see him not in the team this week. So my draft team's not liking that. Liability Leilua returns. Yeah, look, Joey Leilua returns in the centres. I reckon that he'd want to be on his best bloody behaviour, that's for sure, because what we saw in that Penrith game, I don't know how much more of that shit Madge will take. He walks straight back into the starting squad, which, fair enough, since there hasn't really been too much New South Wales Cup going, or whatever it is, President's Cup now. But, we'll wait and see what happens there. Mate, final game on the Saturday night.
Big game of the week, this one.
Yeah. Look, obviously probably the informed team in the comps, top of the ladder, up against a team that's battling through injuries and personnel in their forward pack being gone. In the back row, in the backs as well. Charles Nickel Clockstad comes back. We see Rampana move back to the wing. Look, if there's a team that can bring Penrith back down to earth, it'd be the Raiders. I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, Penrith have got a pretty easy run coming in. I think they've got the Raiders and the Eels as top 8 teams. Maybe Cronulla, obviously, you want to consider them as well. But other than that, teams outside the 8. So, if they're going to lose 1 or 2 on the home run in, maybe this is the one that it'll be. But the Raiders forward pack just needs to step up and try and get on top of these guys. Tamo's been good. Fisher Harris has been good. Liam Martin's been huge. And obviously Isaiah Yo's playing big minutes as well in the middle of the park there too. So I really haven't been a fan of Kickow this year, what he's done. But when you've got superstars across the rest of the team, he's just doing his job, and that's good enough. We'll just see. Let's see if Johnny Bateman can back up that score from last week and throw out another 80-something. Tommy Starling, Hampton's mentioned it before, looks good off the bench, and Tapano does as well. Corey Harawira-Naera, look, debuted last week off the bench. Probably didn't have the most impacting initial performance. Dropped a few balls, made a few errors. I think he might have missed a few tackles as well. So he'll have to improve on that. But no doubt he's just looking to get that match fitness under his belt. And come finals time, he'll be a huge asset for the Raiders there. And the second phase play he can create, definitely Georgie Williams looks like the kind of player he can take advantage of that. First game on the Sunday, mate, 2:30 game, 2 o'clock game. Who we got? Titans up. Wow. Oh. Shit, I'm glad I'm doing something else at 2 o'clock on Sunday. I don't know what it is yet, but fuck, I don't want to watch this game there. This looks atrocious, doesn't it? Look, big news for the Cowboys. Michael Morgan comes back. We see Jakey Clifford drop off. A bit interesting there. I actually thought that obviously my boy there, Ben Hampton, he might be the one that dropped off and Jake Clifford would keep his spot. But he's managed to hold that. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidau, wow. Anyone who has him must be really, really hurt. I managed to get rid of him a couple of weeks ago. But 10 points, 15 points, 11 points, whatever it may be. The poor bastard, he really hasn't stepped up for super coaches. I think he's worse than Corey Allen, I've got to be honest. Corey Allen was terrible last year for the Bunnies. This bloke could be worse, but there you go. Tamalolo, he pulls up that number 13 spot as usual. He'll perform huge again. Who else was it that's coming back? What's his name? Josh Maguire, the grub. I reckon he's a bigger grub than Paul Gallen, but that's for debate. He finds his way back into the team after, I think it's either injury or suspension. And we've got Reece Robson in huge, awesome form, but Jakey Granville returns onto the bench, so we'll see what happens there. For the Titans, not really much to speak about too much there. So we'll move on. And a final game, mate, finish out the round. 4 o'clock game, the Sharkies up against the Eels. I think this will be a good game. I think the Eels will absolutely destroy us. I think if the Eels play their game right, Cronulla looked just absolutely woeful up the middle. One thing I will point out is last week the Broncos backs just tore us up the middle. So Herbie Farnworth, Xavier Coates took a few runs, made breaks, easy line breaks too. Like guys falling off tackles everywhere. And, we were talking 15, 20 minutes in before you're even fatigued. So the Eels, I think if they can look at that the right way, I think blokes up the middle like Junior Paulo will definitely be effective and score well in Supercoach this week. But they need their wingers to go look. As just say, these are wingers.
Well, you're roboting
3 and 4, but I think that's what they need to do. So yeah. Adam Ishmael, Sharks to win. I'm putting $250 on the Sharks. I win $750. We'll see, mate. Good luck to you. I hope you get it up, buddy. So Reid Marnie doesn't play 2 bad games in a row. Look, mate, you're probably right, Benny. He really doesn't. The kid's a very, very solid player, and he's fortunate enough that he's in a cracking team where he doesn't really have to perform as a superstar. He can just learn his trade, which I think he's doing quite well. Probably you look at Blake Brayley, the same thing for Cronulla. He's been forced to sort of step up in the absence of Chad Townsend, and last week against the Broncos he was huge. So Matty Moylan gets named at 6 again. Jesse Ramian returns. Josh Dugan returns. Will Kennedy holds his number 1 spot, which is huge. So congrats to him. We see Britton Nakora dropped off altogether out of form. Tackle's terrible. He misses that many. And when you got him and Sean Johnson defending there together, there's some big holes that can open up there. But new cult hero, CSC for Talakai. This bloke's an absolute bulldozer. I love watching him. He looked awesome out there in the centres to see 130 kilo centre, but no, he's doing quite well. But that's about it, mate. So that wraps up the games for the week. What do we got next? Trades.
Yep, onto the trades, and hopefully the fucking intro works this week.
We got an intro going to work.
Change places! Change places!
Alrighty. So, as you mentioned before, your trades have completely changed now than what you let me know.
Yeah. 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 Look, it's always going to fucking change, isn't it? I mean, you look at, for me, so I got Madison, I got Grant, and I got Smith. I don't have Best. I don't have Pappy. I've pretty much avoided, half of the carnage today. Still got hit by half, which probably isn't as bad as some other people. But, mate, yeah, when I messaged you yesterday, these were the trades. Basically, with the price that Mitch Moses was, it was nice and easy to get there from Cam Smith. Move Billy Walters up to number 9, play Harry Grant in the starting position, and bring in Mitch Moses. And then that freed up a bit of cash for me to go Jermaine Osaka up to Kalen Ponga and left about 150K in the bank. Now, unfortunately, I still would do these trades, but obviously Harry Grant being named out, and now that Billy Walters has been put back to the bench, I can't really have no number 9 or a number 9 that's playing off the bench and expect to score 60 or 70. So, hence why I still need to bring in one of the two guys up the top, but I will be going Cameron Smith to Jazz Tavanga. With the draw for the night, I'm leaning towards Kalen Ponga. Again, we spoke about it before. Mitch Moses, not so much a massive break even. So he'll be about sort of 450, 460K. It means next week I can just go straight from Walters to him, which, maybe that's an option. And the other couple of players I was looking at, obviously John Bateman and Tohu Harris. Look, in the back row there, I'm pretty happy with what I've got in Fisher Harris, Tamalolo, and some other bastard who keeps going all right. I can't even remember who it is. But, yeah, mate, it's a bit of a tough one. Who you bringing in? Have you had a look?
I'm up in the air about who I'm bringing in. Might listen to Benny G's advice and bring in McInnes for Smith.
Yep.
And then that way I can move McInnes into the second row later on. And then getting rid of Best and bringing in Latrell.
Okay, so last week I brought in Latrell. And I regretted it 5 minutes into the game. Look.
All right, chat suggestions. Who should I replace fucking Bradman Best with?
Well, it depends on who you got. So who's in your centres now?
I'd have to fucking switch screens around. All right, hold on.
No, that's right, mate.
It's open at the moment. So I've got Lomax, Nofo.
Yep. Okay.
I don't know, how do you pronounce it? Is it Yee or Yao or fucking whatever? Isaiah.
Isaiah Yo.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't know. I'm hearing YO, but that's a good question.
And Best.
Yep. And Best. Okay. So you got 3 solid guns there. There's really no one there. That's a good question. I can't think of anyone too much at the moment. Look, Shieldsy, mate, we know Latrell's got no base. I think we've talked about it 5,000 times. Completely agree with you, buddy. He doesn't have a base whatsoever. But what he does have is more natural ability in the game than anyone we've probably ever seen. He's got no work ethic whatsoever. He's got no...
Apart from maybe Greg Inglis.
But
Inglis was...
Greg in his early days he actually had a go. He actually wanted the ball.
That was the thing. It was very frustrating as a South supporter watching Greg Inglis play for South, because he very much did the same thing that the Trolls doing. Except
he was past the bottom.
except every now and then Inglis would decide, I want to do something, and he'd just switch on and do something phenomenal, which Latrell hasn't done in Rabbitoh's colours yet. At
The
least.
boy, yeah, no, agree. The boys are suggesting Stags, mate. I'd want to be waiting to see whether he actually plays this weekend after the video. I don't think he's got too much to answer for.
He's a victim, Josh. Are you bullying him?
Yes, I am.
You're bullying. You're bullying him. You're saying his form's out. He hasn't got any rhythm.
What price is Stags, boys? What price is Stags? Mate, if you can afford Stags, yeah, I'd actually be keen for that.
I probably can't afford Stags with the money that I get from trading out
I'd go
Smith.
Stags and he kicks goals, so yeah. All right, that's trades done. What else we got?
Onto the leagues, the group. So Hoof-Hearted was the top of he was the top of the group this week. Scored 13.97.
What did Cunning Stunt score?
This week they scored 12.71, but they're top overall.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know. I just noticed him sort of top overall because he's been up there a little while now, so performing quite well, which is good. All right, that's good. Cool. Next
is the BJ and Game Day League and Big Ted in the winner's circle this week with 12.81.
See, this is what I mean, right? This is what I mean. Going into pre-updates, I had top scored out of everyone, and
well, mate, if
turns
pre-update scores would have done me well too, as you're about to fucking find out.
But there's 19 other blokes in the league, and 2 of them went past me, and I don't have a problem with that. But the fact that I was playing one of the motherfuckers in head-to-head, and that just happened to be the bloke that outscored me, that's what pisses me off. His marquee was 30-odd points behind me, and he got me by 7 points. So, I don't know. I'm dirty. Feel like I should be able to be.
But good on Big Ted. Getting up there.
Yeah, good on you, Big Ted. He's been having a bit of a sulk on the Facebook Messenger group because his draft team's not performing too well. So he's starting to climb back up in overall. No doubt he'll get into the top 5,000 by the end of the season. And who else we got, mate? Next
BJ,
league?
The BJ All-In.
The All-In League?
And that was Victor with the creatively named Y. He scored a little over 1,300.
Very good. Well done, Victor. Who else we have there, mate? I can't read these names. Killer. Fatty.
Fatty for feeder boys. Lachlan, that's 12.86.
Very good. 12.86, solid.
And Brendan with Lords.
And then
12.77. Just pipped you
nice.
there.
So just out of the medal race there. I don't even get a bronze. And the invitation, the BJ and Game Day 2 League, mate.
That's about to pop up. Big Papa Huss, Dylan, 12.96.
Very good.
And then you've got the NRL Supercoach Noob, which I don't believe because he's fucking sitting in the top 3,000. So Billy's going all right.
Well done, Billy. If you are a newbie, very, very well done. Congrats, Sam, the missus at the bottom. What do you mean? Shana, I can't see what you're talking about. She fucking probably beat you in the end. Kano, undefeated. Yes, you are. Kano, let's go to the head-to-heads, mate.
All right, so the head-to-heads for the draft. Here we go. So
do we have the head-to-head for the league? Oh, we don't do that anymore, do we? Kano's still undefeated.
He's still undefeated. He pipped me by like 12 points.
Draft. Hampton.
So you want to talk? You want to talk about fucking updates? The round ended and I was about 30 points in front of Brent. And then with updates, He's pipped me by 3 points. Now, I did mention before that usual thing that I do that I didn't do this week of checking and swapping out.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
I know. And it would have got me over the fucking line too. So, yeah, tinny bastard fucking Hampton again pips me on fucking updates.
So Kano
and Mana had a slobber knocker. Both of them
Jesus,
scoring
close
fucking
games, eh?
high.
Marty
just
over
got
Hell's
up
Grannies.
over Hell's Grannies.
Teddy beat
Big Ted
Bundy.
beat Bundy, and you got absolutely fucking hammered.
Mate, I fucking don't like draft. I
Why
only
couldn't you
had 10
fucking play
players.
that shit the other week when you beat me?
I don't know. I even looked at my draft team today. I thought, oh, yeah, it's not that bad, but it really is that bad. But anyway. What else we got? The games for next week, mate?
Games for next week in the draft. Bantam up against Kane Anderson. So Kane Anderson's going to take the fucking top of the fucking ladder by the looks of things. I'm up against Wayno. Bundy's up against Mana. Big Ginge is up against Marty. And it's Psycho Circus versus Big Ted.
Yes.
And Big Ted be hoping your form's the same as last week.
Mate, he knows it will be. He knows it will be. He's got the 2 points in the bag. That is. Although, I think I might have David Fafita coming back. I've got David Fafita in my team. I've had him for the last 10 weeks. And I need Turbo to come back. I need Turbo to make a return. Too many of my teams been on the bench. I've had Jazz Tavanga half the year. I had Johnny Bateman half the year, and then I let him go 3 weeks ago thinking he'd never play again. And then he comes back and as a blinder. I don't know. I'm just terrible at draft. All right, mate. So what else we got?
Here's the ladder. Here's the ladder now. Kane Anderson has drawn level with me with that. I'm just still ahead on for and against. But, yeah, so Kano up against Brent this week. He's looking to strike and take that top position in the BJ and Game Day draft.
I still can't believe you're leading, mate.
Well, I probably fucking won't be next week, so don't worry about it.
It's just Teddy, isn't it?
What do you mean?
It's just having Teddy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that being said, I didn't...
It's dragged the rest of your team up.
Yeah, well, and having Lomax as well. Having Zach Lomax was a bit of a fluke.
Yeah.
I picked him up as a filler, and it fucking worked out well for me.
See, that's why you didn't win this week, because he went shit.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. Yep. He'd just done an extra couple of tackles, I would have won. But,
is that it?
That is it, unless you've got any questions
Words
from
of
the
wisdom.
chat.
What have we got? Brent had Bateman.
Brent did have Bateman.
Maybe I get Yeah. This week will be interesting for sure. It's going to be an interesting week. There'll be a fair bit of chat. Actually, it's funny. I jumped onto the rankings, the overall rankings, and the guy who's leading, Harry or Henry or whatever his name is, Big Dave, his team's called. I think at one stage his team was called Big Dick Dave. And I think they took that away from him as well. But I think he's got about...
no fun allowed.
He's got Cam Smith. He's got Harry Grant. He's got Bradman Best. He's got Madison. So he's got those 4. I don't think he had Pappenhausen, but he does have Hamiso. He did have Charlie Staines, who's injured as well. I tell you what, the guy's 200 points in front, but I reckon he's done. I reckon he's gone for. I reckon someone's going to come from behind and win this comp from probably maybe somewhere else in the top 10, and he'll be absolutely filthy because this lad's led for about the past 6 or 7 weeks, and I reckon he thought he had it in the bag, but I reckon he's going to go on struggle street. Yeah. All right, boys and girls, that's about it. There's not too much else to talk about.
No,
we will catch you
short
all
episode this week.
Yeah, no Hampton to slow us down.
Yeah, that's it.
No anchor. All right, guys. Catch you all next week. Cheers. Hey guys, Joshy here. Thanks very much for joining us for another episode of BJ on Game Day. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube for all your notifications. If you do want to follow us on Facebook, you can find us there at BJ on Game Day, and on Twitter we're at BJ on Game Day as well. So guys, we'd really like your support with that. Follow us so we can know you guys are enjoying the content. Thanks very much.